Hello, hello, everyone. Chelsea here, coming to you live. I'm feeling high. I'm feeling on a high after having just such a beautiful one-on-one session with a client. I feel like that is going to really spill over in today's episode. And yeah, I just want to continue with this energy and share it with you. Um, so if you're with me live for today's episode of the Love Over Fear show, do say hello, connect with me. I'm really excited to teach today's episode. It's going to be very experiential. After that session, it's going to be very intuitive, um, a bit more on the spiritual side, but not like any sort of spiritual beliefs, but that's just where I'm at. I'm in my spirit. We have body, mind, and spirit. They are all one. They are all interconnected. And yet we can kind of tap into the different experiences of each one. So I'm very much in my spirit in this moment. So today's episode is Access the Power Within, and we're going to learn to embody this, to connect with our power, our empowerment, not just in our mind, not just mantraing our way into feeling empowered, but truly sinking into it, really feeling it, finding it in our body, feeling it on a visceral, cellular level, because that's when we really believe it. If our body doesn't believe what our mind is saying, or if our body is incongruent with what our mind is saying, it feels like we're lying to ourselves. So if in our body we feel powerless and afraid and anxious and just deflated, and we're telling ourselves, you're powerful, be empowered, you got this, then a lot of times we'll experience that incongruence and then we'll go, maybe I'm just lying to myself. So we really want our body and our mind to begin to come onto the same page and experience that alignment. That's what alignment is for me. Experience that alignment and that congruence with not only telling ourselves, I I am more powerful than my fears. I can do this. I am courageous. Not just telling ourselves that, but actually feeling it. Feeling that congruence, like, wow, yes, yes. So we're going to explore that today. Let me get a sip of water. So first, I want to just begin by starting with just a quick little body check-in to get ourselves, shift our focus from our mind, which is where a lot of our attention goes, especially when we haven't built that muscle of presence, right? Being able to be present is often like this muscle we have to build. And our default tends to be bringing our attention and having our attention on our thoughts. So I just want to start us out doing something to shift that focus, shift that attention from the thinking mind into the energetic body. And when we shift our focus to our body, we are in the present moment because we can only feel and experience sensations in the present moment. So, say hi if you're with me. I see a couple people. So let's start with that, just shifting that focus. And as we go through this, you're going to notice your mind pulling your attention back up to your thoughts. That is completely normal, especially when your rehearsed default pattern is, oh, my mind, my thoughts, my thoughts. So just as you're beginning to become aware of your body, give yourself grace and compassion and just lovingly redirect your attention back into your body when you notice that your mind is like, but what about this and what about that? And blah, 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 blah. Nothing will reveal our current pattern like body work. It will reveal all of the mind's tactics that are usually happening without our conscious awareness. So let's just find a comfortable seated position, whatever that means for you today. Maybe it's sitting more upright. Maybe it's relaxing back into the chair. Maybe it's having your legs crossed. Maybe your feet are planted on the ground. I'm going to plant my feet on the ground. And let's just first notice those points of contact. Let's become aware of the sensation of your weight contacting the chair, or maybe you're standing, the weight of your feet contacting the floor. And feel that sensation of weight on your chest even as you exhale. Like there's this downward motion of weight when you exhale. So feel that sensation of the downward motion of your weight against the chair, whether that's your back against the chair or your sits bones against the chair, and feel that downward motion of weight, feeling gravity's pull as you exhale. And we're just going to do a quick body scan, meaning we're just going to check in with the body one part at a time. Just take inventory, notice what's there. It doesn't need to feel a certain way. There's no judgment for any discomfort you're feeling. We're just taking inventory, shifting our focus and attention to what's happening in our body rather than what's in our mind. So let's actually just start with our feet. Let's begin to bring our attention to our feet, noticing the sensations in the feet. Maybe my toes are cold right now, so I feel the coolness and the tingliness in my toes. Maybe you feel the pressure of the balls of your feet against the floor. Maybe you feel that pulling sensation as you flex your feet and point your feet. Begin to notice your ankles. And it helps to really notice sensation when we bring movement to the body. Sometimes we're so disconnected from our body that it's hard to feel sensation when we're still. So right now I'm kind of pedaling my feet so I can really notice the sensation in my ankles. It's like this tingliness, this pressure, pulling as I pedal my feet. And bring your awareness to your calves. I'm also feeling that pointed tightness in my calves as I flex and point my feet. Noticing any other sensations that are there. And we don't need to judge the sensations. They don't need to be good or bad. They just are. And notice your knees, the tops of your knees, the backs of your knees. You can stretch your legs out to really feel that stretch in the back of the knees, the sensation, the pulling of the hamstrings. And notice your thighs. Maybe you feel the backs of your thighs against the chair. Feeling the sensation of the tops of the thighs. It can also help to use touch if you want to bring some sensation through touch to your legs. A pressing motion. And just feeling the sensation of the legs. And then we're going to notice our sits bones, our pelvic bone. Again, you can use movement to help you bring even more attention to the sensation that's occurring. Feeling the shifting of the sits bones on the chair. And then we're going to bring our focus and our attention to our spine. Again, even if there's discomfort, pressure, tension, pain, we just want to practice noticing those things without judgment or going into a story about what that means, or, oh my God, I'm so uncomfortable, and then what, right? Notice how the mind likes to create stories and meaning and take us somewhere outside of the present moment. So just notice the sensations in the spine. Helps to move it if you want to explore that. And begin to notice the sensation in your heart space, in your chest. Again, it might be helpful to use touch or movement to feel and notice what's happening in your heart space. Maybe you feel like this tight, heavy knot in your chest. Just notice what that feels like. Notice what that sensation feels like as you add breath to it. We're just noticing, taking inventory, shifting the focus from the thinking into the body. And notice the shoulders and the arms. Feeling any sensation, temperature, tingling, pressure, heaviness. Whew. Can again use touch to anchor into sensation. And finally, we're going to go to the head and neck, just noticing that part of our body, being aware, being with. Beautiful. And just take a moment to notice your body as a whole connected entity, if you will, from the bottoms of your feet to the top of your head. And just taking 3 breaths, however you need to take those breaths. Beautiful. So now that we've anchored a bit into our body and we're noticing now this whole other world besides our mind, there is a whole other way of existing that doesn't have to do with thinking. Can you believe it? I know that was revolutionary for me to know that like I could exist in another way that had nothing to do with what I was thinking. So now that we've anchored ourselves into our body, I want us to begin to become aware and notice and explore how fear is manifesting in our body. What is our current relationship with our anxiety? Maybe you're afraid of the anxiety itself. Maybe not only are you afraid of something bad happening in your relationship or things going wrong or getting hurt. Maybe that's one fear, one part of the fear, but maybe you're also afraid of your anxiety itself. You might be afraid of what it means. You might be afraid of feeling it. You might be afraid of, oh, what if I go and visit my partner? What if I go get married and I'm anxious that day? And then you want to avoid those things because you're afraid of feeling anxious. Anyone out there afraid of your anxiety? You're afraid of your anxiety. You're afraid of your mind. You're afraid of the discomfort. Is that something that you experience? Fear of the fear. Just wait a moment for any comments to come in. I'm almost out of water. Because that's definitely something we see so much with our clients in this work is not only the fear of certain things in life and in the relationship, but actually fear of the anxiety itself. Sometimes, yeah, I love your nails. Thank you. My first time getting them done since before the pandemic, so it was a big deal for me. So many of our clients are afraid of the fear itself. Less afraid of it every day because it is repetitive. Okay, so learning to face it, and then it becomes less scary. So as Sarah said in the last episode of the Love Over Fear show, and if you didn't watch that, you can find that in the Facebook group or you can find the recording on our YouTube channel. But she said, whatever we're afraid of, we give our power away to. So if we are afraid of our thoughts, if we're afraid of certain things happening, if we're afraid of our anxiety, we kind of take on this energy to it. Oh no! Right? We feel like it is bigger, stronger, more powerful than we are, and that we are at its mercy. We are at the mercy of this fear. We are at the mercy of the anxiety. And we feel powerless to it, like it has some sort of control over us. So I want us to actually begin to explore that relationship. What is the embodied relationship you have with your fears? Whether that's fear of the anxiety itself or fear of, oh, I'm picking the wrong partner or my partner breaking up with me down the road. I want us to actually explore what that feels like in our body. So just take a moment and begin to just gently call to your awareness this fear, whether it's the fear of the anxiety, the fear of worst case scenario. You don't have to bring in the scariest possible thing, but we're just going to call to mind this fear. And I want you to begin to see it as something separate from you. because we become so fused with it that that it just takes over. So I want you to actually begin to see this fear as something separate from you. And maybe you want to hold it. Maybe you want to imagine it sitting next to you or sitting in front of you. And maybe you give it a shape, a color, an image. Maybe it's shaped like an animal or some sort of person. But I want you to imagine that fear, whether it's the anxiety, whether it's fear of loss, fear of making a mistake. Just picture that fear. And if you're with me live, feel free to share with me what that fear looks like, what imagery came up for you, or what that fear is. Feel free to share that if that's something you want to share with me. I'm just going to picture that fear, imagine it, see it as something separate from us. Maybe right now it feels like it's this big. Or maybe it's like this small little mosquito just keeps biting you. There's no right or wrong imagery here. We're just imagining, using creativity. And I want you to begin to notice just what your body automatically does, even in subtle ways, as you picture this fear. Do you feel like a tightening of the chest, a shallowing of the breath? An urge to like turn away, an urge to run away. A blue exclamation mark, and it is as big as my head. I love that. I love that imagery, right? I love the exclamation mark because fear makes everything feel very urgent. It's very urgent. Ah. So just notice naturally what your body does in response to that fear. Imagining you're sitting with it or holding it or seeing it next to you. And we're going to begin to exaggerate that response. So maybe it's like a tightening of the chest. And notice what else happens. Are your shoulders coming in? Just feel free to exaggerate that and really play with that reaction. This is our embodied relationship with our fear. Maybe you want to turn away, run away. Maybe you feel like I just want to go into fetal position. I have a lot of my clients who are like, I just think I want to go into fetal position. And I'm like, go there. Go there. Let your body do that. Let your body express that. Let's explore that. So maybe it's fetal position. Maybe it's covering the face. Just take some time with that. How you feel in relationship to your fears. And this isn't something we need to judge ourselves for. A lot of us might be like, oh, I should be more brave, or I shouldn't be so scared of this. Let those judgments go. Do you feel small in relation to your fear? Sometimes we want to close up and kind of go into this ball. We feel small. We feel powerless. We feel disempowered. We feel like our fears have more say than we do. We feel like the blue exclamation mark has a louder voice than we do. So just notice that as you're exploring your current relationship with your fear, with your anxiety, with the thoughts that feel so scary. What's your current relationship? And then what we're going to do is begin to shift this relationship from one of disempowerment to feeling empowered in the face of it, feeling empowered even while this fear may still be there, may still be present, may still be sitting in front of you or sitting next to you or in the palm of your hand. I think the biggest misconception as we're beginning to heal from anxiety is that it should just go away and we'll never feel it again. But really this work is about, can I still feel empowered in the presence of my anxiety and my fear? Can I still make choices that are in alignment with my values and my desires? rather than out of fear and avoidance. So, what I want us to do, you can kind of like shake that out if you need to just shift that position. Just take note of what you experience, but we can kind of shift out of that if you need to move or stretch. And we're going to begin to find this power, to access this power in the face of our fear. And this is very much going to be inspired by what I worked on with my client today before this. I want us to just, again, return to that supported seated position. And I want you to just notice your breath. You don't have to change it, just notice the presence of your breath in your body right now. And I want you to take a moment to recognize that the breath that is happening in your body is life moving through your body. It's the energy of life that is fueling your breath, life flowing through your body. And maybe there's a color or image that comes with that as you begin to breathe in this energy of life and feel life energy moving through you. For me, I see this very vibrant blue. Blue is my color. Blue. I think of blues and greens. Just noticing that life force energy is moving through your body in this moment. And that the same life force energy that is moving through your breath is the same life force energy that makes trees grow and oceans roar and mountains form, right? This is life moving through all of these things. And the same energy, the same life that fuels all of these powerful things happening on our planet is the same energy that's moving through your breath. It's the same energy that's causing your heart to beat and your cells to divide and your blood to flow and your brain to function. The reason why we often feel disempowered is because at our core we feel separate from life itself. We forget who the fuck we are. Same life force energy that's moving through my breath is the same thing that makes the Pacific Ocean move and these giant ass pine trees outside of my house to grow and stand. It's the same life force energy that caused these mountains to form. I know this seems very like spiritual and metaphysical, but it's true. We're not separate from this life. We are life. And our mind often tries to convince us otherwise. It creates separation. This feeling of smallness, aloneness. I'm making up words. But can you just tune in for a moment and feel this life force energy, this powerful force? And maybe you only get a little glimpse of it, and that's okay. Maybe you just mostly see it outside of yourself. Maybe you're looking out the window and you see trees or you see the wind moving. And I want you to recognize that that's the same thing that's already within you every single moment. And I want you to ask yourself, can the life force energy within me, can that energy really be shaken? Can that energy really be so easily threatened by a thought? Can life itself be threatened? Truly, can it be shaken by my mind? And when we're really tuned in to that powerful force within us, we feel that the answer is no. Because this force within us is so much more expansive. It's so much more spacious. It is the space in which we can hold these thoughts and these fears that then begin to feel so small as we pan out and remember who the fuck we are. I am life itself. I am timeless, I'm formless, and every thought and fear that we have is based in time. It's based in past, it's based in future, it's based in finite situations that have a beginning and an end. But life energy is timeless. It existed before your body existed on this earth, and it will continue to happen after your body no longer exists. So this gives us the opportunity to pan out and see the finite nature and see really how small our fears are, how small our thoughts are in the light of the truth of who we are, which is life itself. You are the ocean, you are the sky, you are the earth, you are fire. You are not separate from that power. You are one with it. So I want us to just take a moment as we are beginning to get to know this essence of who we are. Begin to allow your body to respond with any kind of movement. Maybe it's just a shift in posture. Maybe you notice yourself standing up taller or opening up your shoulders more. Maybe you want to stand. Maybe you want to open your arms. Maybe you want to embody the powerful ocean. Just allow your body to respond to, I am life itself. And how powerful is that? What could be more powerful than that? And can I simultaneously see my fears, acknowledge that they're there, while anchoring into the essence of who I am, which is life force energy, life itself, timeless, formless, powerful. And if we can do that, then it's going to begin to shift our relationship to the fears. Like I said, maybe the thoughts don't go away. Maybe the fears are still there, but I imagine that your relationship to the fears is going to begin to change drastically. Maybe they don't feel as big and scary and life or death. Maybe you're able to have a bit more gray area with them, more flexibility, more perspective. Because when we remember who the fuck we are, when we remember that we are life itself, we remember that at our core essence, we really cannot be so easily threatened and shaken. And the part of us that is so threatened and shaken by these thoughts, by these fears, by our anxiety is not the true essence of who we are. That's not the total picture of who we are. And so many of us, so much of our world is so identified with that part, the part that's afraid, the part that is small, the part that is our ego. But I want to remind you of who the fuck you really are. We can hold space for the parts of us that are afraid, yes. We can become curious about them. We can tend to them. But I want to remind you, you are not powerless to them. You are the space beyond them. You are timeless, and our fears are rooted in time. They're rooted in finite situations. They're rooted in emotions that don't last forever. You are life itself. And that's pretty fucking powerful. And that life is always in you, and you can access it at any time. Just tune into your breath. Feel the life, the energy moving through you. Feel your heartbeat. That power is always there. It's always accessible. And the more time we access it, the more time we spend with it, the easier it is to find that place when our fears try to convince us that we're small, that we're powerless. So practice this as much as possible, even if it's just a little moment throughout the day. Let me check in with my breath. Let me feel life moving through me. Let me remind myself when I look at a tree, or when I look at the ocean, or when I look at a fire, or when I look at something just big and majestic, when I look at the stars, that that's the same energy within me. Let me remember how powerful I am, how connected I am with life itself, how supported I am by life. Let's just take 3 breaths together. Feeling that life energy. Remembering that we are life. I hope this was helpful. I hope this grounded you in your power. Something so subtle and so simple, yet something that has been so profound for me and so many of my clients. And if you want to do more body work, if you want to continue to invite your body into healing from anxiety, then we have lots of ways that we can support you. I'm just going to post a link to our website where you can see all the different ways that we can support you in this, and we can help you access this embodied sense of empowerment, this embodied sense of peace and safety and connection, so that your mind and your body aren't always fighting with one another, but your body finally begins to get on board. And your mind and your body can be congruent. And when you say, I love my partner, your body will feel that too. Yeah. So I'll post the link to our website. Just check out what we offer, see what resonates with you, what feels best for you, and take that leap. Step into life, step into the fullness, step into power, step into courage. Sending you all so much love, and I can't wait to see you embrace love and yourself and life wholeheartedly.